answer all the questions, we're gonna take a straw vote to get, whether or not you're interested in moving ahead with the project. We're gonna take that information, the result of that vote, I'm gonna call it, and take that to the council board for action. So tonight, we'll talk specifically about the project, the time of the project, and to kind of, test the water to see if if the benefiting users are in favor of moving ahead of the project. Okay, so if you could put up this one right here. These are pictures of ponds. Okay, if you could go to the district. Okay, this map here shows the pond in blue. The subdivision is kind of a reddish color, and then the condo units are green and orange. So that area, all of that area drains into that blue pond, more or less in the middle of the area. So when a rain event happens, there's storm sewers in the backyards and the streets, but they all go to that pond for that entire subdivision and condo development. The township agreed to maintain the pond in the, I'm gonna say the mid-90s, when the original subdivision was platted. So at that time, that pond serves this sub, but the township agreed to maintain it, and has maintained it since the mid-90s. I forgot what exactly happened. But during the maintenance was basically cutting the grass on the top of the pond, and then keeping the pumps operational. So every year you probably receive a bill for the detention pond maintenance. It's probably been $20, $30, $40 on, whatever happened, the township facilities and operations, DPW would send that time to the treasurer, and then they would produce a bill once a year.
It was an assessment on our tax.
Yeah, yeah,
And it
but
was for $110.
Right, but it was specifically for the pond. So the pond, and that is the maintenance that happened for these 30+ years. We had 2 big rain events in August of last year. There was a lot of flooding reported within the township. And so the township looked at the 6 ponds that they operate and maintain, this being one of them. There's 6 other subdivisions similar to this that the township assumed maintenance in the mid-90s. So out of the 6 ponds that we operate and maintain, this subdivision had the most flooding reported. So we decided at that time to see if we could maintain the pond or fix the pond better, so it handles big rain events better. So we hired Spalding Decker, consulting engineer, to prepare engineering documents to bring the pond back to its original capacity. So plans were prepared, bids were received, the bids came in roughly $400,000. The pond, the pond currently is operating at about 90% capacity. The pond was supposed to have 35,000 cubic yards of storage. About 10% of that has been taken up with material. So this project would take the fragmites and everything back out from the center of the pond. Let me get that little picture of the pond. Yeah, it was, that one. So that is the pond right there, and you can see the mowed part, which is the upper bank of the pond. But the base of the pond has been taken over by fragmites. So a little, 10% of the capacity of the pond is lost due to that material being in there. So this project would remove the fragmites, restore it back to something cuttable, grass, sod, seed, and then it would be back operating at 100%, and then the township would maintain it that way for the next near future. So the fragmites and the 10% fill would be removed, sod restored, and then it would be mowed like the upper banks of the pond. So if you can go back to the district map again. Okay. So the assessments are based on basically area. So the single family subdivision, which is again kind of the reddish color, those lots are being, proposed to be assessed at $1,329 per lot. The condo units it's more of a dense development, so the units of the lots are smaller, so they have less area, so their assessments would be reduced accordingly based on the size of the condos. So that is based on the bids received, that is the proposed assessment for each lot or for each unit in the town. So that's, and again, we've done a lot of these meetings, the best part of the meeting is during the Q&A, so that's when most of the information comes out. So if you could, raise your hand, speak loudly, and then we'll, yeah, go ahead, sir.
Quick question on the condos, is that per building or per unit?
Per unit.
I just want to verify that.
How much does it cost altogether?
Go to the, and the items at the top, probably 15 of them, those are the actual bid items. The bids received by Telto Contracting is $438,400. $438,400. And if you can read these pay items, those are the pay items. That is to bring the pond back to its original shape, clean the inlets and outlets, remove all the debris, and then get the pumps, running back to their optimum, what they're designed to run in. So that's what those pay items represent. That equals $484,000 that the Telto was a little bit around. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so getting back to that August memo and all that rain.
Yeah.
Was the detention pond, did it fill up too much? I thought it was, I heard it was more about the pumps. So is this cost here more about, like, you said 10%, I didn't think
Yeah.
that was much. Like, my concern is getting water from our backyards and
Yeah.
streets to the pond.
Yeah.
Is there really an issue with the detention pond?
Well, the reason we're speaking about the pond is the township maintains the pond. You're absolutely right. In a storm sewer system, you can go back to that other slide. There is cascades and pipes that all lead and get bigger as they head to the basin. And those pipes are designed with a certain capacity. It's a 10-year, 1-hour event, which is a roughly 2-hour rain event. So if the rain event exceeds that 2 inch rain event, if the rain event exceeds that 2 inches, then the water will start backing up in your, surcharge into the backyards above the catch basin. Which may or may not mean that the pond, that means just water, the pipe, the rain event is too big to get the water to the pond. The pond is designed for strictly a volume, 2 inches over the entire site.
Right, but I guess that's my point, is that, like, my concern would be my backyard getting near flooding like it did last time.
Yeah.
And I thought, is the cause more of that a better pump system or the cleaning out of the detention pond?
Well, when the rain event starts, depending on how intense it is, the water has to get collected and conveyed to the pond. So if it's an intense rain event, the piping that takes the water to the pond it's possible it's not big enough.
So there's no, I guess maybe I thought there were other pumps, but you're relying on gravity basically to get.
No, it's all gravity to the pond, and then there is pumps at the pond that pump it up and force main it.
Okay, so it's all gravity.
It's all gravity to the pond, so all gravity to the pond. And then once it gets to the pond, it's stored, and then the pumps kick on at a certain elevation. But again, we can do this work, and there's still a rain event out there that's gonna exceed the capacity of your rear lap pipes, and you'll still have surge. Yes, sir.
So my question would be, getting rid of the frag lighting, cleaning out the pipes, maintaining the pumps, isn't that considered just normal maintenance?
It would have been normal maintenance if we stayed on top of it for the 30 years we were maintaining. If we would have, before the frag ladies took over, yeah, that would have been normal maintenance.
So shouldn't that be your guys' responsibility?
Well, that's one way to look at
Because
it.
you did not keep up with it anyway.
No, I'm not gonna argue with it. But if that was done, there would have been more revenue than paying more each year.
But that doesn't sound like it's our problem now.
Well, it is,
should be
this
your
pond
guys'
serves this
responsibility
neighborhood and this
to
neighborhood
clean out
only.
that system.
I'm sorry.
It should be your guys' responsibility to stay up on it. And now you didn't, now you're delegating it all to us to up front there.
Yeah. Well, again, the agreement was to maintain the pond. The township maintained the pond by cutting the upper banks and keeping the pump running.
But whose definition of maintenance is that? Cutting grass?
Yeah.
You know that's not the point of the pond. Getting rid of the frag lighting and keeping it at 100% is the point of the pond.
Yeah.
Cutting the grass is not the point of the pond.
Yeah, and it sure as I'm sitting there, that didn't happen. We can look and see the frag lines. If it did happen, the district would have paid for that continuous maintenance during the
So
30 years.
nobody
of the
just
bond.
looked and saw the fragmite that's been growing?
We're reacting, I can tell you the result of the big rain events, last August, the 2 rain events in a row, that's
Fragmite
the
did
biggest
not
one.
grow in a month.
Hmm?
The fragmite did not grow. in a month.
Why, again, I'm not arguing with you, I am not arguing with you. Yes,
So moving forward, what ongoing maintenance,
It's-
so that we don't have to,
Do this again.
yeah, well, if nobody wants this project, we will go to the board and say, nobody wants the project, so the project will not get done. So the maintenance that would happen is what's been happening, I think once a month they go out and again, cut the upper bank.
So there's really no next.
We live there. Okay, well, it'll be continued, or, maintained how it has been,
We'll get it
which I thought was a monthly budget.
my follow-up question?
Yeah.
Follow-up question to that then, included in this project, if we do vote for it, well, I'm here for my parents, so if they vote for
Yeah.
this and everybody votes for this, what can we put in place to make sure that there is proper maintenance? Like, can that be included?
Yeah, ideally, and what has happened since 2000, is subdivisions and condos own and operate and maintain their own ponds. The township really isn't equipped to maintain retention ponds. So what could happen is this, as a group, the association, if we can get together and say township, we'll take it from here. That could happen. Yes.
My neighbor, her backyard is the pond.
Okay.
She can't be there till 6, but as long as we have, you know, the fragment, whatever, they have been there forever.
Yeah,
They said they were gonna remove them and they never did.
okay.
I understand it's a maintenance thing, whatever.
The top-
Guys, the township did.
Yeah.
They didn't remove them, now you're saying you're gonna remove them, put grass, again, like another guy said, how are we, how do we know for sure that that this is gonna continue? That you guys are gonna continue to maintain it, because when they had, at the beginning, when they had said they were gonna remove, that they weren't gonna remove them, it wasn't gonna be a problem, that's what they told us.
To remove them or to not remove them?
To not,
Oh, to not remove
to
them.
not remove them.
Well,
If we don't remove them, it's not gonna be a problem.
Right.
Now it's a huge problem.
It's not a huge problem, your pond is operating at 90% capacity, which handles most rain events. And the pond was originally designed for 35,000 cubic yards of volume. Right now, it's like, the project is to remove 3,500 cubic yards of volume, so 90% of the pond volume is still as it was 30 years ago.
But how are you
Which
gonna
handles
maintain fragment
most,
mites?
the fragmites are, I don't know, they're very hard to deal with.
Correct.
So we would Telto would excavate them out of there, it might be on there, they might try and burn them out of there, there's other methods to get rid of the fragmites.
She just wanted to know.
Okay.
We keep from the lake up and we get Frank Mighty, and what we were told is to cut the tops, put bleach on it, and it went away,
Okay,
so.
yeah, I know you can drown them, I think you can burn them, there's certain time of the year that you can do certain things to them, but they are tough. I mean, they're all.
I mean, other ways of getting rid of it.
Yeah.
Bleach.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I see city maintenance vehicles all the time, you guys can't, not, just figure this out, can't you guys rent equipment like backhoes and do that yourselves? I'm asking a question, seriously.
No, and you're right, and here's what I found, that, private contractors do work better than public contractors. So yes, we could go out there, I mean, we've maintained for the last 30 years. We could go out there and get equipment, but I'm telling you, we wouldn't do as good as a private contractor. Yes,
What is a prescribed burn?
a prescribed burn, is you can only burn it during certain times of the year, certain winds, there has to be a lot of factors that are right to burn.
Okay, and if they do that, instead of $433,000.
Where we're at, we're not gonna wanna do a burn.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
We're not gonna wanna do a burn.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't understand what that is.
Well, controlled burn, it just said it's a controlled burn, burn it under controlled situation.
And then you put a pump in last year
Yeah,
and charged us an extra $55 a house or whatever.
yeah, it was 20 grand.
Okay, is that what made it, 90% working?
No, the pumps are different than the volume of the pond. The pond is basically a big bowl, big basin.
Yeah.
And then there's pumps, pipes go into the pump station and the pumps pump that water out.
Okay, so the
So the pumps are independent of the volume of the pond.
Okay, so you replaced the pump.
We replaced one of the pumps, it's a duplex station.
Okay, if the township had agreed to maintain this detention,
Yeah.
whatever, in 1996, 98, whatever, whenever they ended the development, it might even have been 2003, because Scott Demink was on the board when they did this, okay? If you agreed to maintain it then, why is it our responsibility now?
Right.
Especially since you haven't maintained it.
There has been some maintenance under the
Some
pump. I mean, if you look at the pictures, the upper bank is cut.
I understand,
The pumps
but
are
that's
operational. so it's not-
minimal maintenance, first of all, minimal maintenance. Why is it our responsibility?
The pond only benefits the subdivision of the county. The only
But
people.
the township board agreed
To
to
maintain
take.
the pond.
Thank you.
Yes.
So if it wasn't maintained.
But the maintenance was at the cost of the district.
If it
So whatever
wasn't-
maintenance took place, the district paid for it.
If it wasn't maintained properly, why are we being penalized?
Right, because it's, again, the pond only serves this area.
But why
Whatever
are we-
maintenance took place was the stuff, well, and I get it, it's a trick, man. It's 30 years, here's where we're at, that's what the pond is right now. We can go back if you want, we really can't, though. You can't go back.
You can't go back and look at those records?
The record would be, two guys on a grass cutting machine.
Because we're not a homeowners association.
No, well,
We don't have that. So
Okay.
We're just a subdivision, we don't
Yeah.
have any rules, any bylaws, anything. So that's why I wanna know why we're responsible for that one.
well, and again, you're responsible because these areas drain into that pond only serves these areas. So that's the answer there. Nobody else benefits from the pond but the people in that district.
But we can pay more.
You have been paying. You've been paying, whatever maintenance you got, probably not right English, but whatever maintenance took place, the district paid for it. Okay.
Those pictures were taken.
They were taken today.
Right, right after it was cut.
Well, I don't know when they cut. We just-
We'll talk about the times that it's summer.
Yeah, yes.
Going back, following up on this police, Michelle's question. Why aren't the negligent people responsible for their negligence?
You talking about the maintaining of the pond?
Yes.
Again, the pond was maintained, as the pond was maintained, the grass was cut in on the upper banks and the pump station got down. That's the only answer I have. What's that? Yeah, well, it's for people pumps operation, yeah. Yes.
Phillips Square, the other side of the railroad tracks. Same situation. I took it upon myself to get those phragmites and everything. You don't remove them. There's no way you can remove them. They're invasive. They come back.
Yeah.
I rode by today, and it's just as high as ours. So you can't say you're maintaining ours.
I didn't say we're maintaining it.
Okay. I
Yeah.
apologize.
I did not say
So
that.
what happened in that situation is, our sump pumps were running every 5 minutes for 2 years. My PVC was blocked with sludge that could not be removed. I had to put 3 sump pumps in 2 years. The way the situation looks that I will buy today, I'm in the new subdivision there, the condos, the new complex
Yeah.
construction. It looks just as bad today as the one that I looked at where I used to live. I don't see any resolution with maintaining, which hasn't been done. So what can you promise us?
Well, I cannot promise you any, if your sump discharge line is flawed, that is
It
your
was because
sump.
of the
Well,
fragmites that blocked that.
Maybe, I mean, it's like your water service and your sewer lead in your roof, or your, all that, that's your house, that's your stuff.
The people thought it was a pond, you know, enjoy it. It wasn't. The whole system had to be replaced, and Lombardo, Macomb Township did it because he didn't want flooding in his new subdivision. So you know where I'm at, 23 Mile Road? Right there by Lombardo, yeah. And it's a sad situation there, just as it is here. I don't see how you're gonna make that there.
Right.
And we shouldn't have.
Oh, it's a legitimate concern, I mean, we've had it for 30
Not
years.
gonna get rid of those fragmites, we
Yeah.
don't tell us we're gonna maintain them, there's no way,
Yeah,
there's no way.
yes, sir.
They're always looking down there.
Yeah, there's a storm sewer pump station.
Yeah, it's right
And
there.
actually, at least once a week, or if we know there's a big rain event, we go check those pumps.
They're there 2-3 days in a row.
Yeah.
It
Well, I mean, we've had a lot of rain in June and July,
He
so,
opens it, he looks down, then he leaves.
yeah. Well, he, I'm sure he opens it and looks at it and starts on his shirt. Yes, sir.
So 400,000 is a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
My question is, if we're losing 10% of the,
Volume.
volume, does it make sense to spend the $400,000, and is that going to prevent future flooding? And if it is not, then is it kind of like throwing money away? If the real answer is to either increase the volume or increase the size of the pipe, or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Spalding and Decker, we spend a lot of money with them. It seems to me like they would have some insight into
Yeah,
what the
that-
right answer is.
That was a great question, because no matter how big the pond is, no matter how big we make the pond, there's always a rain event out there that's bigger than the design capacity of that pond. And the piping getting to the pond is not being addressed by this project. So all those pipes that are, if you look at that subdivision, every other rear lot has a catch basin, pavement has catch basins, that's all piped gravity to the pond. So there's a rain event that could exceed the capacity of the pipes, and you'll still have standing water for a while. So this project will not stop, I mean, if you're taking up the pond and adding 10% more to the capacity of the pond. So your question was great.
Yeah, so my point is.
Yeah.
If we're gonna spend all of that money.
Right.
The people that experience flooding because of the rain events over the past year,
Yeah.
are they gonna see any relief? And we can't say, yes, they are.
No, we cannot say yes, there are, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
If we get two
So
rain events like
so
this.
that's why I posed the question,
Yeah.
does it make sense for 10%
Yes.
of that pond's
Increase the
capability?
capacity, yeah.
Does it make sense?
It probably would not have served that back-to-back August rain event. And again, the township, this is one of 6 ponds that we agreed to operate and maintain in the nineties. After that rain event in August, we kind of started checking our ponds, and there's a lot of ponds in the township, I don't know if you ever looked at them yet. But we started checking our ponds to see if there's something we can do to our ponds to offer the districts, an answer. So that's what this meeting is about. We've gone out, we've received bids for the pond, the inlet pipes.
Yeah, but you know what it feels like?
No, I get
You know
it.
what it feels like we're doing? It feels like we're kind of like putting a Band-Aid
Yeah,
on somebody who needs,
yeah. No, and again, I agree with you.
So that's my question. My question is, Spalding and Decker, we spend a lot of money with them.
Yeah.
Do they or have they presented any recommendations, or have we even asked for any recommendations as to how to remedy our flooding situation? If we're fixing something that isn't adequate anyway, does it make any sense? That's my.
Right, and storm sewer pipes and systems and ponds have to be sized for something, you gotta build something.
Right.
So they're all sized for a 10-year event, a 100-year event, a 50-year event, no matter how big you make the pipes and the ponds. Nobody can guarantee that there's not a bigger rain event out there that's gonna hit that system. So they designed it, in the Spalding plan was to bring it back to its original 1990s design. So that is, it's a rehabilitation of the pond, to bring it back to the way it was when it was first designed.
And I guess.
Which won't handle every rain event out there.
Yeah, which wouldn't have handled the last.
I don't think it would have handled the August.
That was.
I think that's like 6 inches in 2 days. It was a big rain, or back-to-back rain event. And when the ground gets saturated, the second one hits, that's a big rain event. Yes, sir.
How old are the pumps, and is there any plans in the future to either replace or upgrade them?
Yeah, the pumps, they were put in originally in the 1990s. They last about 20 years, depending on cycle time and how much they pump. We replaced 2 of the pumps for sure that I know of.
How many are there?
And we do check them on at least a weekly basis. We do go out there and look down in the trucks and make sure they're operating. And they do last about 20 years. Yeah, it's a duplex system. So each pump can handle, so if one pump fails, the other pump can handle it. And if that was being worked on, oh yeah, we replaced at least two, I don't know if it's the same pump twice, we replaced at least two pumps that I'm aware of. Yes, sir.
So is there only 2 pumps?
It's a duplex station,
Do
but
you
each
have any
pump,
reserve pumps?
each pump can handle the event that it's designed for. So one of the pumps is redundant. One runs, then they kind of switch over to the next rain event, the other guy runs. There are rain events where they both turn on, lead pump and lag pump, but each pump is designed to handle.
But there's no backup system, so if both of those pumps take a shit.
Right, but,
I mean,
no, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's-
You're right.
Yeah.
But again, so it's a redundant system, there's two pumps in there, each pump can handle it. And we do check them once a week, so if one pump isn't working, we'll go and get it fixed. But you're right, again, anything mechanical can fail. So they are pumps, they can fail, and both of them can fail at the same time. It's absolutely possible. Yes?
Do we know how long the pond has been running at 90%?
No. I'm sure it was built to its original design, so over 30 years. That's another great question, what's the rate of deterioration, how fast
Yeah,
is it going?
deteriorate
Yeah.
from 30 years to 90%.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
Considering we're gonna spend $400,000 to remove some grass, which is an invasive species, which will be back in 2 to 5 years, by the time we're done paying for all of this.
Yeah.
So no one will do it again.
Yeah. I agree with your question, if it took us 30 years to lose 10% of the pond, it's actually not too bad. Yes?
Pretty successful.
Part of the study that showed there was 10% gone out of the pond, and that, was there any study done on that from the pipes that are going from the houses to the pond? Do we know if the volume of the pipes is still 100%?
We do not know. The township operates and maintains the pond. The pipes coming in, there's like 5 taps, storm sewer taps.
I understand, but we paid for the study, so.
Well, it's not a study, it was bid documents, plan inspection, when I did the topographic
And it was
survey.
just bid was put out for that.
Yeah, and the bid was only for the pond.
I understand. So is there any way that a study can be performed to see what is the volume of the pipes, and actually the pipes are the problem and not the pond? I mean, the pipes are not gonna be big enough to capture that event no matter what, because we're obviously not replacing pipes in the subdivision. But do we know if the volume of the pipes is lower because of silt or some other building?
We don't know. And again, the township.
Is there a way, but is
Oh, yeah, there is a way, absolutely, everything can be checked. But the township isn't responsible to maintain the rear lot storm.
Sure, but I would be happier to pay money for a study
Yeah.
to find out if the
Yeah.
pipes are clear. rather
And
than
again,
that.
condos have active homeowners associations because of the law. Subdivisions don't, I live in a sub. But if the sub were to start one, an active homeowners association, that could be the first thing on your agenda. We're gonna hire a company to TV and clean all the rear lots.
Can we petition the township to do that without starting an HOA?
The township doesn't operate, we operate the water mains and the sanitary sewers and that pond, that's we operate these things.
So the township cannot be petitioned to hire someone to perform the study?
You could absolutely petition a special assessment district.
Okay.
Request a petition. In that case, you would need to get, and we would have a meeting just like this, we do an estimate to TV and clean all the sewers, we probably put some prices in there for open cut repairs. We would take that total cost, spread it amongst the entire district, and then have this type of meeting, answer all the questions, but then the petitioner would have to go out and get 50% of the landowners to agree to the project. So there would be another step added. But yeah, that could be done. I mean, there's a one-page form you can fill out with the assessor. Any property owner can request a public improvement under the special assessment. Yes?
So Frank Bitters is still developing the condos, correct? So he was the original developer of Stonehenge? Taking one of them. Is he taking part of the cost?
Well, the condos, whatever isn't sold, if they're still vacant land there.
It's not fully sold.
Yeah, whatever isn't sold, he, as the owner, he would be paying.
We also have undeveloped property, undeveloped land that we have, a part of that area included in that, area of Stonehenge.
Do you guys have a question over there? Do you have a question?
No, my question is like, because we're new in that, Stonehenge, Stonehenge to Carno.
Yeah.
It's because that area is still under, maybe the builder is still continuing.
Yeah, yep.
As far as we understand, there's more units needs to be built in the future.
Correct.
So what my understanding is that right now, only us who is actively in there is going to be affected with these charges.
Whoever owns the property, if it's not developed, whoever owns that area still has to pay for this.
We have
this
Well,
bond.
how about the other people who's not living in there yet, because the building is not built yet, you know what I mean? It's like.
Yeah, once you,
We got the 29 days that are undeveloped.
The builder pays.
the builder pays, yeah, well, whoever
The
owns
builder
it.
will pay that.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. How much do we pay Spalding Decker to do this work? And
Their
are
fee
we
is-
on the hook for that money if we don't go forward with this?
Yeah, that is part of the project. Their fee is based on the size of the job, and I think it's 9% of the bid receipt.
So, about $40,000.
Yeah,
We have to pay for that regardless.
the district does, yes.
So you didn't ask us before you did that.
Correct.
Mr. Siebert, can you explain how that works? Is that legal?
You know, this special assessment district was created back in. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just saying. It doesn't help. Does this help? Anyway, the special assessment district was created in 1993, and there was a public hearing conducted at the time. The public hearing was conducted in June of '93, where notice was given to the property that was impacted. Now, none of you would have bought your home at the time, because when the subdivision was platted, there was really only one owner. It was called the proprietor of the plat, the individual that owned the land, or the company that owned the land. And under the law at that time, and it still is the law now, is that before a plat could be recorded, which was required, there was a determination made as to whether stormwater drainage was necessary on site. There was a determination made in '93 that stormwater drainage was required to service this development. The statute required the local unit of government to create a special assessment district for the operation and maintenance of the retention basins. And back in June of 1993, the board conducted a public hearing and adopted a resolution which created the district, gave the township the ability to operate and maintain the detention basin and its appurtenances, which are the pump seat related improvements that Mitch has already talked about. So that creation of the district gives the township the ability to assess the homeowners within the district all of the costs of operation and maintenance. You cannot spread that amount. In other words, the amount of the engineers, for instance, would have to be spread. To do that, we will have to conduct a public hearing on the spread of that number. That will go to the township board. You will each be given notice by certified mail of that public hearing. You would come to the township board, make your case one way or the other, and the township board would then vote whether or not to approve the roll and to assess it on your taxes. And that's the way the system works. It works that way for every retention basin that's created, for every subdivision that needs retention in the township. I live in a subdivision in another community as well. It's very common. So yeah, it's legal.
So at what point do they have to come to us for anything? So they spent $20,000 of our money last year. It wasn't even an item on the agenda. It was in the consent agenda, so it got approved without even being discussed. So most residents don't even know that that happened. It just hit their tax bill, and it was, $50, $60 more than it's been any other year. So now you guys have come through again, and now you've just spent $40,000 of our money without anybody coming to us ahead of time to let us know that was even gonna happen or be an option.
The statute requires the township to operate and maintain the system. It does not require, again, I'm just telling you what the law is. I'm not telling you whether it's the greatest system in the world, but the way the law is set up is, once the township decides that operation and maintenance is required, it performs that operation and maintenance, and it is the obligation of the residents that benefit from the improvement to pay it. And the township is not obligated to hold a public hearing every time they cut your lawn, every time they cut Phragmites, every time they fix a pump. They're not required to come to you to get that approved.
So that begs my next question, why are we here? If they can spend any amount of money, why would they not just spend the $500,000 and just bill us?
I think the reason you're here, and legally this meeting tonight is not required. The reason you're here is I think the township wants to take your temperature and find out whether or not you've got 300 very angry people that have no interest in spending one dime on a retention pond that may someday save their basement. I'm a homeowner in a subdivision, and And if there's a retention basin in my subdivision, and I have to spend $1,500 to protect the largest asset I own, I'm gonna write a check for it. Not everybody thinks that way, and I get it. But that's the purpose of tonight, to not understand, number one, what is the township proposing? How much is it gonna cost? What's gonna be the spread for the individual residences and condominiums? And are you in or are you out? And if the consensus probably is you're out, then this will be presented, I assume, to the township board at an upcoming meeting. Upcoming, I can't tell you when that is, but at some meeting in the future, and you will be given notice of that meeting, and you'll have an opportunity to go to the 7 elected officials and say, hey, we went to the informational meeting, we hate this, we don't want anything to do with it, we're not in favor of it, and the board will vote accordingly. So the purpose of this is just to have this give and take and understand the process better, that's all.
Sir, I have a question, a legal question. Does the government have the right to tell us what we're responsible for? Because when I signed the contract to buy my house, none of this stuff was in there.
I will bet you that if you could find your title work when you bought your home or went to a bank and they did the title work, that you would see on the title work a special assessment district for retention base. Now, I'm not suggesting you all have it. I couldn't find the title work to my home if I got a 10-year head start. I don't know where it is, I could never find it. But I guarantee you, if there's a special assessment recorded in my subdivision for retention, the title company coughs it up, because when they do the title work, the very first call they make is to the local assessor or to the treasurer and ask them whether there are any special assessments.
So
And it
it-
should show on the title
It
work.
would say special
It
assessment.
should show special assessment, just like if there's special assessments for roads or water or sewer, you buy a home, that special assessment comes up and it's on your title work, I guarantee it.
If I can address that, I actually did look up my title work, and it was in like section B of my title work, there was literally 2 sentences that talked about a retention basin and a special assessment district, and it referred to the recorded documents, the library, the page number, but the documents were never included in my packet. I got the packet sitting right here.
I don't doubt that.
I know, but I looked it up on the county's website, and they want to charge me $6 to $8 to get copies of those documents, so I just downloaded screenshots, which are almost illegible.
Mrs. Young, in today's world, when you get title work, it comes to you electronically. And at the end of it, all of the documents that are called out in the title work at the bottom, there's a click. And you can click and pull up every single document as part of your title work that shows that it is an encumbrance on your title.
Okay,
So
most
if you
of us
didn't, if
spend
you
a
had
lot
that,
on that.
I get it, I bought mine in '86, I get it, they didn't have computers. But what I'm saying to you is, it showed on your title work, when you looked at it, you said there's a storm sewer in the back of my house, there's a sanitary sewer in front of my house, there's a sidewalk easement, and there's a special assessment for retention pond. So you, at that point, are on notice.
There's that guy in the back, right there.
No disrespect to anybody,
Yeah.
and I agree, my house is my biggest asset, it's where my family lives, we've been living in Chesterfield for a long time. I can't just write a check, a lot of people don't have that kind of money. Like I'm saying, I know some people can write a check, some people live paycheck to paycheck.
And sir, I wasn't trying to be flip, the point I was making is, we're at a point where, when we had that huge rain, Supervisor Kirsten, who was to my right, called a meeting of the engineers and the lawyers, and we sat down and we said, look, we've had this massive rain event, and there are certain areas that have retention basins, and we want to double check our math to make sure that the retention basins in this area were not a causation of any of that. And we went through, our engineers got loose, and we went through it, we started looking at them individually, and this one popped up. And when our engineers looked at it, they made a determination that this one could use some help. And the purpose of the meeting tonight is to tell you what we found, and to see whether or not the residents are interested in pursuing that remedy. Again, that's an engineering issue, not a legal one, but, the law clearly provides for this if the board with residents decide to go forward with it.
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of thinking a little further with my previous question.
Yeah.
Why is it that you would have a retention pond and you wouldn't have any maintenance associated with the connecting lines? You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I mean-
It's sort of like they can just be there forever, and we know they're probably not gonna be as efficient, but, so I guess what would be the mechanism to have those evaluated or maintained or, you know?
Yeah, and again, another great question. Since roughly 2000, all developments are condos, and condos by law are required to keep an active association. And the condos own those rear lot storm sewers, so it's their responsibility to hire a contractor to TV and clean it, you know, to maintain their stuff. The subdivisions are similar in that they are responsible for the rear lot storm sewers, but they don't have an active homeowners association. And we go on a lot of drainage calls with residents in platted subs and have this conversation. That storm sewer benefits only this subdivision. If the water main in the front breaks, we'll be out there fixing it. The sanitary sewer clogs up, we'll be out there fixing it. The township has no responsibility to maintain, nor do we collect any money to maintain rear lot storm sewers. They're private. So the optimum